there is a quote that says, you become who you spend time with. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Zoe. Thank you so much for joining me on today's conversation. Being that we have just entered into the remaining half of the year, I thought to myself, in this series of Becoming, it'd be great, in addition to converse about people, individuals, personalities that you need to stay away from if you would like to rise higher in this, latter part of the year, the latter half of the year. And I've put down 10 things from research experience, and I would consider them best advice for the next 6 months. And if you find any or all of them helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Let's get right to it. Number one, individuals that you need to stay away from for the remaining part of the year are people who do not have plans for themselves. If people or if someone does not have a plan for themselves, I don't see how, even in the court of law, you would be able to defend that the person would have a plan for you. It doesn't work that way. Now, I'm not just this sounds very relational, and yes, relationships is what makes the world go round, but it could be for within your social circle, your school, your college, your not just opposite sex relationships or romantic relationships. I'm talking about even work relationships, whatever kind of relationships that you have or are looking to build. Please, my advice is for you to separate yourself or stay away or let go of people who do not have plans for themselves, because if they don't have plans for themselves, they definitely will not have a plan for you in their lives. People number two that you need to stay away from, people who talk too much. Oh my saving God. People who talk too much have a tendency to lie. People who talk too much, they have a tendency to boast. People who talk too much also have a tendency to reveal things that you may have told them in confidence, and guess what? You might just hear it on the block, on your school block tomorrow. So you will not be needing those kind of people in your life, in your very close circle. They will be doing more harm than good to you, to your dreams, aspirations, and visions. And people who talk too much, you may not know this, but there is a very high chance of them being narcissistic. Yes, it might be, talking too much might be a sign of insecurities, inferiority complexes, but it is also a sign of narcissistic behaviors and traits, because deep within them they are doing everything possible to hide those complexes away, and in a bid to do that, they are trying too hard and so hard to promote themselves, so they talk too much, and you might just, be at the brunt of that. So please stay away from them. People number three that you need to stay away from are people that are not warm, people that are mean, people that are just cold, people that for everything it's business as usual. Oh, you're ill, you're heartbroken, they'll send you money or something. They just don't have that human feeling, that humane touch that women normally, we're nurturers and we're carers and everything. That's a natural thing with us. But even as a man, even as a human being, even as a child, you should have that humane, I don't know, just feeling. You should be able to feel for people. You should be able to feel people's travails and experiences. You should be able to feel. Okay, so people who don't have feelings are liable to be mean, and you need to stay away from them because they will just treat you like an object and not a subject. And you do not need that. You need warmth in your life for the next half of it. You need people that are kind-hearted, people that will feel what you're feeling, and even when they do not have money to give to you or resources to uplift you with, they have the right feeling to soothe you. People number 4 that you need to stay away from: people who cannot stand competition. I used to have a colleague slash friend who all she wanted to do was talk and complain about our other colleagues, and it started making me resent them. And after I went on holiday for about 3 weeks or 2 weeks, pardon me, I realized that, oh my god, this is not me. This person is not so bad. I used to be closer to this person before this girl came into the company, and all of a sudden I've turned my back against this person, and I started to dissect, and I remember someone is telling me that this person turned her off against someone else, and I was like, nah, I know she's sweet to me, but how being very bitter to other people doesn't make me a queen. It shouldn't make me feel any better, because when the chips are down, she's going to turn against me, and I will be the subject of disgusting discourse. Yeah. You need to stay away from people who just want to complain, who don't have any positivity in their lives. You need all the ray of sunshine that you can get. It's not by opening your blinds. You need to open your heart to people who are not just kinder, but have the tendency to do better, right? Yeah. People who have no shame have a tendency to be confrontational in public. They have a tendency to ruin your reputation by whatever way. The fear of God will keep you honest. And I will add that shame, if you have some sort of shame, it would prevent you, it would serve as a deterrent for you to just act anyhow, without act like you were not brought up well, like you were not trained. People who do not have regard for any other person. People who just do things because they can. Don't you have any shame? I've talked about people who have no heart, but don't you have any shame? You're doing this in public right now, really? People that are used to not making efforts as you do, whether in a friendship, in your work relationship, or your romantic relationship, or platonic, or church relationship, whatever circle relationship it is, your neighborhood, your house that you're living in, your compound, your village, your family. You might want to draw back from them, because they're not, the whole tone of 2021 is energy and vibe. Ooh, if your energy doesn't match my energy, I'm going to withdraw mine. That is very good. That's a very great statement and culture to promote. We all need people that will be there for us as we are there for them. So people are not taking you for granted. You don't want people taking you for granted. Whenever they cry, you come to their aid. But when you cough or when you cry, they're like, oh, you'll be fine. They give you scriptures and they send you money, and they're just pretty cold towards you. No. You need people who make efforts as you make. Another set of people who you need to stay away from is people who lead double lives or lead double standards. You are the company that you keep. If you are great friends with someone who leads a double life, then I'm sorry. Something in you is attracted to that person, and that gives me the impression that you also lead and want to live a double life. So if you carry on with that person, you will become that person. Why do you think that married couples, most times when I talk about couples, I'm talking in the confines of marriage, because that's what I believe in. So couples suddenly start to look alike when they've met each other, and live for more than 3 to 5 years together, because They share everything together. So if you're friends with someone, a good friend with someone, you will become like them. So stay away from them so you do not take that virus does not come onto you. You do not contract it. People who are not content maybe in God or themselves or their family or their jobs, and they need to run to inducers like drugs, alcohol in excess of it, sex without the confines of marriage, and any other societal ill just to get a high on life. I would stay away from such people. I do stay away from such people, and I would encourage you to stay away from them. Your life would be so much safer and peaceful if you do stay away from them, because you would become like them. You would find yourself. What that tells me is that these people are pretty empty, and emptiness is like a warehouse that just about anything can be stored or can be saved or can be warehoused in there. That means the devil can house anything. Idleness is the workshop of the devil, is the tailoring workshop, is the production warehouse company of the devil. You do not want that. Stay away from people who have to engage in these negative toned experiences and events and activities just to get a high on life. There is the not so negative one. I mean, you can use it negatively or positively. You can go shopping, you can watch a good movie, you can take a walk, you can spend time with friends, you can eat, you can have some ice cream. But it can also be negative, it is how you use it, and to the extent you use it, that's how the tilt will work, if it would be negative to you or it would be a positive one. Please be very wary. I won't say stay, but be very careful of people who have little or no relationship with their parents. I can understand if you were abused. I mean, if your reasons are very cogent, very solid, deep, we would get that. But if you have no reason, you have a reason of, oh, he left my mom, or she cheated on my dad or something, or he doesn't send me money. I'm talking about your parents now, or even your siblings. They become outcasted to you. Please avoid these people because they have little or no human feelings. They do not know how to forgive. And that brings me to my next point. There is a whole lot that you can get from family. My family is indisposable for me. If you have health and family, I think you are the wealthiest person ever, and especially when you have a good relationship with them. My 9th point: people who are unforgiven. If you cannot forgive a parent, I'm not saying draw them close to you, but just stop yapping negatively about them. They've done evil, let it go. If people cannot let go, it just shows the extent, the softness of their hearts, and their understanding of humanity and warmth and caring, the whole nurturing ability. They do not have it. They've gone stone cold. I understand experiences can happen. We've all had experiences. But if you cannot forgive someone else, I know this is a bigger conversation. We can divert it to racism, forefathers, classroom forefathers, maltreating them. But then you see some people doing that today. So therefore, people are right to be angry. But then when, let's say, it stopped in the past, and then you're still carrying that bitterness up until now, we will have to talk about it. We will have to look at that closely or will have to stay away from you, because that would be unfair, passing the sins of the fathers. It used to, you know, in the Bible in the olden days, the, God would say the sins of the fathers would be met out on the children, and that was so hard to take. Thank God, after the Old Testament, that was washed away with the blood of Jesus. So now we are free, and it's your sin. You're getting burned for it, but then there is mercy and there is grace, and there is the blood of Jesus that washes you white as snow. So great, but then we shouldn't continue saying that grace may abound. So back to my message today, it is that stay away from people who cannot let go or forgive it. Unforgiving people have the tendency to be mean, and you do not want that. My final point is stay away from people who stay away from you.